Yeah, these rooms work better acoustically, and that's kind of interesting. What did it say? Poisons and inhibitors, antibiotics, be able to identify a palindrome and know it marks the end of transcription for provericotes. I don't know. I was never the greatest science kid. Not my brain style, but I'm glad we have scientists. And, it's really sad. Some of these people like to talk down Fauci like he was a bad guy. He's helped deal with terrible diseases his whole life. What have you done? You haters? You haters that hate this guy that was trying to deal with the pandemic that killed 1 million Americans? And all you want to do is bitch and moan about your mask or being 6 feet apart, or you know when bad things happen we need to come together. You seem to do that when there's a tornado or a hurricane, or well, pandemic's the same thing. And if you take away these, if you keep people from being immunized against smallpox and measles and polio, and some bad things can happen. Maybe not to your people, but to the people around. So you can trust the scientists who 90% or 95% of them agree on basic things, or you can trust these people who know almost nothing about science. Trump is almost nothing about science. That's not their background. That's not what they've studied. And also, scientists do it together and talk to each other and try to prove each other wrong and try to see what is true. And if you don't respect that, then you don't respect modern civilization and some of the great things that they've done and are doing. It's difficult to be a good citizen. That's what I want to do on this one. It is difficult to be a good citizen. Democracies are very difficult because you need good citizens. Democracies are run by the people. So the people have to be really good and knowledgeable, engaged. And I'm going to show you an example about how hard this is. Okay, so I got a lot of journals basically. Trying to understand Southern history, even if you don't live in the South. The re-enslavement of free black people in Texas, 1858 to 1864. That's just one of the stories, but that caught my eye. So knowing more about our history, their history, everybody's history, and how this comes together, and part of it is racism, of course, and part of it is not as well documented as greed. And I read a lot about early colonial America and all the land grants to the rich people, and the rich people granting themselves all these thousands of acres, or people that they know, or speculators buying land from some soldiers that may have got some land and then driving up the price. Progressive farmer, why land prices aren't sliding. We all like our food. We all require food. We like good food and healthy food. But we're far away from the farm. We don't know what's going on there, and we don't seem to care. We should probably have a class in high school or junior high on farming, on our food supply, where it comes from, what types of farms are there, what's the benefits of smaller farms? How much are how much uh, fertilizers are used, and what are the good points or the bad points of that? How big are the farms? Is a gigantic farm better than five smaller farms? Do you want your food supply uh, decentralized or centralized? You know, in a democracy, decentralization is a big issue because you don't want to be dependent on one billionaire or one corn farmer or one or two uh, media organizations. Anyway, so far we've looked at understanding our history, and I like history, but as a political science major, I like what's going on today. What are we doing today in farming, and how does that affect the land and the people? I'm not going to go there yet. Aviation. I don't know what turning point means, but I know we need to move to electric airplanes and not burn so much gas, and all sources of energy use. Electric from a clean source. We're moving really slow. Climate change is getting worse. This year will be, last year was the hottest year in, what was it, 100,000 years? This year will be hotter, next year will be hotter. Because there's more people on Earth than ever before. We're burning more than ever before. And we can try to blame it on India and China burning coal. That's a big thing, but we're right up there with what we burn. And our lack of promoting a cleaner way to live. We just elected a guy that says drill, drill, drill. So we're killing our own selves. We're destroying our own home. That's a sickness. Like I say, they're building a lot of things around here. On my way here to the university, it's about a mile. I saw so many apartments. I think mainly apartment buildings or small houses. Uh, what I've been seeing recently is a two-story house with one door. So you'll probably be three or four roommates. I don't know. It's probably a two or three bedroom, maybe four bedroom. This idea of the dorms, where you come into a small room and there's bunk beds, so you're going to live in this little room with somebody else. I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that. Everybody deserves their privacy. When you want to be, alone, you need to be alone. So we've got engineering, airplanes, and farming, and history. And the military, is it the biggest employer in the nation? One of the biggest employers of the world, the Pentagon. And yeah, knock on wood, I'm a lucky guy because I taught for 15 years and I put in money to the union, and I have a pension. And some people I'd say that to feel bad because they don't have one. And I'm sorry. We should all have a decent life, our whole life, including when we retire. And the military has pensions. I remember I was volunteering at a homeless shelter, and a guy was volunteering, younger guy, and he was becoming a fireman. And I said, "You won't get paid very well, but you will have a pension." And he kind of looked at me like he knew what I was saying. Firemen don't get paid very well, worse than policemen. Now, they're not as engaged, but everybody needs a decent life. And these people that serve in the military, and when they get older, who's going to take care of them if they need help? Like the football players that get dementia from or CTE, all the concussions, which can lead to early stage dementia. Somebody needs to take care of them. It costs a lot of money. who's going to pay for care? It's a lot of money. My mom had Alzheimer's for like 6 years. I remember a lawyer I was talking to saying, "Man, I used to think your brother had this insurance for your mom. It was way too much. It's like it was kind of dumb of him to do that until she got Alzheimer's." And he's like, this really did work out, the insurance he got, because she needed it. You got to think about the world as a home to everybody. So Assad in Syria goes down, and right now, knock on wood, they've got a leader that says, "Hey, women are equal. Women don't have to cover their faces. We want to be tolerant of all religions," which is awesome, and I hope it comes true. I lived in Morocco, a Muslim country, sweet people, wonderful people, and women had a lot of rights, not equal rights, but they didn't cover their faces, and I'm not sure if they had local elections. I'm not sure how they do it in Morocco. I know they have a king that's much better than some of the ones before, more caring and open. And so I have hope for Syria. I have hope for Morocco and all of us. Oh, this is the farming. Back to earth, the prices of farming, prices of land. I have a friend that lives outside of Chicago, or he lives on a farm, his parents' farm, and he helps them. But he was saying a lot of land, hundreds of acres, were bought for a solar farm. So they're going to put miles of solar panels to create energy to feed Chicago. And what he's upset about, he said, "Man, this is good land. This is good farmland. We need clean energy." But as a farmer, he's mad because that's good farmland. Home. How do we take care of our home? We don't think about it enough. What's it called? Forever chemicals. The forever chemicals that never go away and that can poison us and give us cancer. The microplastics that are in my body and your body. The microplastics that we don't think about, and we just say, "Man, that's over there. I'm dealing with this. I can't deal with ecology and a clean earth." Destroying. We say we love God. God created nature and the world, and then we destroy nature and the world, but we say we love God. What? What does that mean? Doesn't mean anything. Okay, so anyway, so much to know as a citizen, and that's just a tiny, tiny bit. We didn't even talk about tax policy. We didn't talk about health care. We didn't talk about education. We didn't talk about inequality. We didn't talk about how to get rid of the ghetto, how to create a society where it doesn't have a terrible low income area with shit housing and crime and desperation. There's so much to know and try to understand. Yeah, gardening's fun. I like having a little garden, just working with the earth and growing. At least in this area, parsley is healthy for you and it grows real easy. I like peppers. That's a little bit more difficult, but around here they grow pretty good. Yeah, broccoli is good, but it's too hard to grow. Anyway, just growing something, being part of the earth, in touch with the earth, is a healthy thing. It seems like it's us, humans, against them, nature. We just take over everything, bulldoze everything. And all that we say is jobs, 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 jobs. We need the jobs. We don't care about the earth. Jobs, 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 until the earth is destroyed. Global climactic catastrophe happens, and we get drought, and we don't have enough water, and then we have fires. The heat is record setting, and the water has record heat, which helps form superstorms, which destroy places with the high winds and flooding. We act like we're above this. We act like we're above nature. No, 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 no. We don't talk about the number one issue in the world, which is global climate change and the catastrophe of the heat and all the things that come from that. We just had a big election. We hardly talked about that at all. We wanted to follow the guy who says drill, drill, drill. We don't want. That's really bad. Bad for today, bad for tomorrow, bad for the earth. That's it's not a good citizen, I'll tell you that. You're not even dealing with the number one issue. I have to put food on the table. I'm worried about my rent. Those are all issues too. That's number one. Then we can look at inequality. That's either even with that, probably number two. Because without nature, we're all gone anyway. So nature is really number one, and humanity is number two. We have to live within our means, and our means includes respecting and honoring Mother Nature. And here's it, much different. Okay, now we go into the arts. Do you have to appreciate the arts to be a good citizen? A lot of people like football. That seems to be number one. It's a sport, but it's an art too. I like football. I think it's artistic the way it's really violent and probably causes too much brain damage, and we need to find a different way to do it. A whole magazine on the clarinet. Isn't that funny? Or it seems funny to me. But yeah, the love of the arts. What is this? It's just called fiction. Okay. That's a 20-page story, or 21. That's an 11-page story. Huh. We're all interested in different things. I'm more interested in history and government and nonfiction. Peruke. I had almost forgotten to mention that her peruke was a man's, and naturally one might believe that she anticipated the style of women dressing like men, but this was not the case. Peruke. I don't know what that means. Interesting. Perspectives of new music. And what is new music? Okay, well, it has some of the notations. I can't read music. I tried to take piano here at the university. And it lasted about 6 weeks, and I told the guy, I don't see how I read for my left hand at the same time I'm reading for my right hand. How do you do that? Oh my goodness, I could never do that. I love the piano, but I just play it for fun and not very well, and that's the way I think it's going to be. But new music, that's interesting. How it changes, or how it doesn't change much, or how it repeats, or what. There's so much technology these days in the music, and I don't know if that's really music. Is technology music? I mean, yeah, it can be. What's it called? Auto tune on your voice, so that you can tune it, but also make it sound funny. That to an extent, I think that's okay. I do like to be able to just sit down in a room and listen to somebody with no electronics, just telling their story. Or to me, the greatest guitarist right now is from South Korea. He's about 22. Jensen, I forget his name. The Crow. The Crow, is that one of them? The guy's so good. And what caught me was this one video. He's on like American Idol in South Korea, and he's sitting there with the guitar, and he just blows up. He is so good, and he what do you call it? He dances around on it. He uses it as a drum, tapping, and you can tell that the judges first are like this, just kind of watching the 17-year-old, and then a couple of them like, oh my god, like this guy. And why I think he's the greatest guitarist is because he writes a lot of songs, and they're really nice. They're all instrumental, and he just plays them by himself on the guitar. They're really good, nice melody. Yeah, for my money, he's the best guitarist today because he's creating things today that are really special, and he's so good at the guitar. Um, so he gets my vote. And I don't know if you need a best. I'm just saying you got to look at this guy because he's so fantastic. I was going to say something else about him. But yeah, I think he's 22. Um, and it's kind of sad, the video, they're all talking in Korean, so I don't know what they're saying, and there's no closed captioning, so it was nothing, it wasn't transcribed into English, so I don't know what they're saying. But a truly wonderful guy, wonderful guitarist. What's this worth? What's poetry worth in today's age? Is it worth anything? I said, how did it happen? Exactly. And she said, I'd just begun my one-to-ones, and I was doing my usual intro with this guy. Oh, I'm not going to go there. I used to confuse desire with a longing for humiliation. Desire as a mean conspiracy. This is kind of sexual, that's for sure. Color is a transitory state of emergency. That's the title. That's interesting. I like the title. She is terribly angry about what happened. That's the title. A dew coming through, a complaint, a hymn, a flame, to be undone again. They gave few instructions to do with love. It reminds me of Oh Lost, Thomas Wolfe, a leaf, a tree, a door, a leaf. It's got an interesting beginning. You can watch the movie on YouTube, A Genius. But that really caught me, and so I didn't want Come Homeward Angel by Thomas Wolfe because that was what the publisher wanted. It was a good guy, I think, but took 700 pages down to 350 or whatever, so they cut a lot. They cut that beginning, which is anyway, not here to judge, but I love the beginning. And here's the international. I said, we should probably have a class for students in junior high or high school on our food supply. And we should probably have a class, I guess this would be more like in high school, maybe junior year, senior year, and of course they would write poetry. But you would learn a lot about people around the world, and you might go, wow, I really like that poet in Romania, or I really like that poet in Gambia, or Chile, or Vietnam. And you kind of see, wow, we're more alike than different. So I'm going to stop there. Wow, 24 minutes. Because all this was about is being a good citizen, which is to be a great citizen is probably impossible. But to be a good citizen, we can do, but it comes with hard work and trying to understand so many different things. I just showed you. And I just showed you this much. So when people are kind of arrogant about, they're the boss and they're going to do this and that, just remember, they're a pea brain, just like you and me. We're pea brains because there's only so much we can learn and understand. particularly to understand what's happening now and what should happen, what's the best path forward, because that's unexplained and, and we're not sure right now. We're pretty sure clean energy is the way to go, and we're pretty sure that equality and humanity is the way to go. I'm pretty sure about both of those. But a lifelong learner and become the best citizens we can be, and then you can cultivate the democracy and world that good people deserve. But we have to do it.